Recently, Raider Red got into a little trouble. Stay tuned to find out what happened. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm not a poet, so I'll just leave it up to these students. When you flipped through the dials looking for MCTV, you may have noticed some new channels. That's because Suddenlink dropped Viacom's channels, all 24 of them, and added new ones. Reporter Jordan Sigler shows us why. Gas prices have slowly been dropping the past couple of weeks. According to the website GasBuddy.com, October 19th marked the lowest average price this year, sitting at $3.12 for unleaded gasoline in the U.S. and $2.91 in Texas. I sat down with Charles Bolton, co-owner of Bolton Oil Company, to see why these prices were dropping like they were.
You know, I inquired with our supplier because it's a little unusual for it to be dropping as much as it's been dropping the last few weeks. You know, he told me that the oil supply right now, the crude oil supply is on the high side, and that we're not using as much product. So that's the reason for the gasoline coming down in price. When that happens, when they get overstocked on crude, and then consequently they wind up with more gasoline in storage than they need, and they drop the price to get people to drive more and keep their tanks full.
Paige Kemp, a senior graduate student in accounting, and Sarah Mindy, a senior biochemistry major, tells us how the gas prices affect how they fill up their gas.
Probably just about the same for me. It's just easier, I guess, to fill up gas. If the prices are higher, then I usually just try to make my car go for as long as possible, but with the prices down, then it's easier to just go get gas when I need it. So.
What about you?
Yeah, my professor actually taught us about the oil commodities, so I kind of watch them and see what's going on in the oil market and then follow that with my gas prices. So like I know in the last 3 weeks it's going to go down even more, stuff that's going on. So yeah, if you watch it, I usually follow what's going on in the market and then base my gas filling on that.
Bolton also tells us what some of his customers have said about filling up their gas when prices are this low.
Actually, you know, the cheaper the fuel, the more we sell, and customers are happier. You know, I don't know whether well, I talked to a few of them, and they told me they go more when the price is down.
The U.S. national gas average right now is 27 cents more expensive than what it is here in Lubbock. So, while prices are still cheap, everyone go grab a tank of gas. The Tech Activities Board is doing its part to try to keep us a little healthier. Students from all over campus gathered at the Sub Wednesday night for the Poetry Slam. These students were able to express themselves in such a unique way. Adrienne Mendez tells us a little bit more about the event.
I'm the nightlife coordinator for Tech Activities Board. Tonight we're putting on a poetry slam, and it's kind of an open mic kind of situation where people can just kind of come in and share whatever they have written. They can be original compositions, they can just be, you know, one of their favorite songs, favorite poems, favorite really anything. They can share a friend's work. It's really just an open forum to let people just kind of express themselves.
Students not only performed works by famous poets, but also shared some of their own. Shelby Gregory tells us how she got into poetry reading.
Honestly, probably my English classes in high school, and that kind of sounds lame, but they were just always kind of interesting to me, and reading the poetry was interesting. And I remember we would go through and kind of analyze it, and it was kind of interesting to think about what the author may have like considered when he was writing it. So I guess just things like that.
So watch for these events posted on Tab to see when you can go express yourself by reading some poetry. With MCTV, I'm Keely Waller. The struggle of waking up in the morning is very real anytime for some folks. But for those students with the earliest classes on campus, it can be a downright battle between their bed and alarm clock. Randy Redding struggled but won the battle, as she shows us in this report. During the football game against UTEP, Texas Tech's Raider Red sent a tweet from the official Raider Red account directly to Cliff Kingsbury, letting him know he was ready to take Webb's spot in the game. Chris Sneed, chairman of Raider Red program, explains why the tweet was such a big deal.
I think it's important for our students to understand that when they portray the mascot, even be it from their personal account, even as a saddle tramp, that they're public figures, and that when they state something like that, even from their personal accounts, that those things are serious and people see them.
Clark Lammert, senior public relations major and also a member of the Texas Tech men's basketball team, gave us his perspective on the situation.
He represents the school, and so that's a reflection on Texas Tech. It's a reflection on Tech athletics, and it may have been a mix-up. He might have just tried to do it on his personal account, but either way, it's really not acceptable for a big-time program like Texas Tech.
Lammert says he felt the suspension was justified.
Yeah, accident or not, at this level, you really can't tolerate stuff like that. So.
Sneed brings up a very valid point. Mascots can't talk, nor do they have phones.
Obviously, mascots don't speak. They obviously don't have phones either, and it's really not appropriate for them to be commenting on the outcome of the game.
Sneed also says the Raider Red program will undergo a revamping because of the tweet.
As the chair of the committee, we're going to lead a revamping of the program and put some safeguards in place so that things like this don't happen again, and when they do, that their appropriate consequences are in place so that we don't have to visit this again.